Hey YouTube, it's me Mike again, and I'm just going to do a little unboxing of this Sentry 2 from NZXT. It's a 5¼ inch. I'm going to use it to control, I think I'm going to use all 5 channels because I'm going to use it for, this is going to be channel 1 probably, 2 and 3 will be this, 4 will be this 200, and then maybe if I could sneak this rear 140 for the last channel, I'll go ahead and do that because it is a 5 channel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and unwrap it, and I'll show you the wires, and what I'm probably gonna do is just show everything out of the box and then show my really bad cable management, because I mean it looks okay from here, but the back of the case is just spaghetti wires everywhere. And I heard these fan controllers it gives you a lot more wires you have to manage. So we'll go ahead and take a look into that, but let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so after opening this up, what you get is, of course, the NZXT Sentry little fan controller itself. It has a little protective sleeve on there, and the cables are all tied. They're actually tied up pretty nice. Didn't feel like they forced it too bad. So you have all these cables. It comes with some extra temperature probes, I guess, in case you break them, because I've heard people doing that before. It comes with 4 screws and some thermal tape, and the thermal tape is very important because some people I know will try to use just normal tape, and that won't work as well as it should, I should say. Sorry about that, a little confusing. And what's really confusing actually is they give you 1 zip tie, and I have no idea what you're supposed to use this 1 zip tie for. I imagine they just give it to you because they're like, ha, good luck managing all your new cables with this 1 zip tie. So you also get this NZXT little warranty paper and this quick guide, and this quick guide was not put together very well at all. So it's pretty straightforward, but I noticed the one I got, I don't know if this is a newer one or an older one, because the ones I've seen online, they have a blue PCB. Mine is white, so that's I'm okay with that. It's gonna stick out a little more from inside the case. Hopefully it'll still be hitting behind the drive bays pretty well, but we will see, once we get it all in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the temperature probes. Another thing I also just want to notice, it came in this bag, and first thing I was like, oh hey, it's nice it's in a bag, but this isn't really an anti-static bag. It's just a normal bag. So I guess it's better than no bag at all, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing all set up, and I will show you what it's like once everything's done. Okay, so I just got done installing it, and as you can see, my cable management is a horrible mess right now. So installing it was actually quite a process. On the other side of my drive bay, I was able to use the quick snap. On this side, I had to just manually put in a screw because you are going to be pushing on it to change the settings. And I went ahead and just routed everything right here, put a little twist tie, and then all the cables. Unfortunately, it does use Molex, so I had to connect, or let me go back a couple steps. It uses a Molex power connector, so I had to plug in a entire modular, because I have a modular power supply, I had to plug in a whole new, what do you want to call it, a power line just for that, and I just ended up trying to stuff everything here. Honestly, normally I used to care about cable management, but now it seems like the more gadgets I'm adding on, the harder it is to manage all this mess of cables. So at this point, as long as I get the back panel on, I am a-okay. So the temperature probes were actually really hard to install on my first hard drive, which was an SSD, and it's tucked in the top here. There's like a 2-inch gap, like you can't even fit your finger there, so that was really hard to get in. The second probe I went ahead and just put on the other hard drive. Probe 3, I went ahead and put it on the side of the radiator because I don't really care where it goes. Probe 4 I just stuck on the back of the case here, and probe 5 is down by my power supply. And honestly, this probe is probably going to get the hottest because I have it's a Corsair, I think it's an HX 750. Let me see if I can catch a glimpse of it real quick. I can't really see it. It's a Corsair something 750. I think it's an HX. And what's kind of cool about them is the fan doesn't turn on until it hits either a certain temperature, which is actually kind of hot, or it hits a certain load. So if it's not hitting that load, the fan doesn't even spin on it. So this bottom area will get pretty hot pretty fast. And as for the fan channels, I set this as fan channel 1, fan channel 2, fan channel 3, fan channel 4, I went ahead and made the rear, the exhaust, and channel 5 is the 200 on the other side, on the side panel. So let me go ahead and put everything, see if I get the back panel back on, turn the computer on, and I'll kind of show you how it works from there. Okay, so I went ahead and got it all installed, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Let me go ahead and just slide this over real quick so we could mess around with it a little easier. So basically how this thing works, essentially, I'm just going to kind of briefly go over it. A couple things I also want to go ahead and say about it right off the bat is I do have better temperatures, especially on my CPU, and I think that's because before, when I had the fans hooked up to either, well actually before I had the top 200mm fans hooked up to just a Molex connector, and you know, they must have been running at a pretty low RPM. So how I got this set up is, this is fan 1, this is fan 2, this is fan 3, this is fan 4, the rear exhaust, and this is fan 5. So I went ahead and just bumped fans 2 and 3 to 80%. They were at 100 when I first switched everything over to manual, and I went from about 30 degrees Celsius, usually 29, to actually usually from 28 to 30 degrees Celsius on my CPU. It dropped down to 25 degrees Celsius. So huge improvement there with, you know, just a fan controller. I actually left this little plastic thing on. I'm going to take it off after this video. But the fan definitely spins a lot faster on this side. Now you can actually see it spinning, which is pretty cool. I went ahead and set all the 200mm fans to, I believe, like 80%. You know, that seemed good enough for me. And I set the rear 140 to 50%. And this thing is pretty awesome. Some people don't like the beeping sound. It's a little weird, but it's not like you're gonna be messing with it 24/7. It's when you turn it on, you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna change my fans to 50% or 80%, so you're gonna constantly hear the beeping. I like it on manual. It does have an automatic mode, but since the way I put my sensors on, I'm not really gonna go off of that. I've always been more of a manual guy myself anyways, so pretty satisfied with it. It looks pretty awesome. Overall, I'm enjoyed with it. Sorry for the really bad camera work. I'm not too used to this, but great purchase. I got it for, I think, on sale for 20 bucks. Would I recommend it for $20? I would definitely recommend it for $20. You see, it's quite a nice performance boost for the price, and just the level of control it gives you is great. And also, it's darker now. I also noticed, actually, let me switch to the right one. Because I'm able to ramp up the speed of my fans, the LEDs do get brighter, which is kind of nice. You still see the blue shining in from the side fan, but this red fan right here is definitely a lot brighter now. And this is at 100%. And you know, it's a little louder at 100, but it's not unbearable, you know? And I'll probably run it at 100 in the summer, but since we're in the winter right now, there's no real need for it, so I'll just set it to 80%. It's still a decent performance, the sound's good, but I'm happy with this fan controller. You know, it's pretty solid. Definitely like it. It's really improved the computer quite a bit. So that's pretty much it.